from wonderfully rainy Central Portugal. In this video, I'm going to show you my fermented hot sauce, I'm going to slake some lime, I'm going to ride a bike, and I'm going to prepare for the rains. So I hope you enjoy this video. Let's just get straight into it, and I'll check in at the end. It's been 2 weeks since I put exploding pineapple hot sauce into the jar, and it's time to go take a look and see what's happening with it. There has been no explosion, but hopefully there has been fermentation. Hopefully I haven't just put a whole bunch of stuff in a jar for it to start rotting for 2 weeks. Hopefully the fermentation is doing its bubbly thing. I've taken a peek at it a few times and it seems okay. Hello. No signs of cracks, no signs of explosions. Everything looks good. Also no signs of bubbles. Oh no, there's some bubbles. So it looks like there's some fermentation action happening. All right, I've got all the bits I need. I've got my immersion blender. I've got the thingy to blend it inside of. I've got a sieve to separate the brine from the good stuff. And I've got a container to sieve it all into. And most importantly, I've got what hopefully is a whole bunch of fermented goodness in there. So I can see some bubbling action in there. I guess I won't really know until I crack this bad boy open. So yeah, let's take a look. So here's the ferment. It's got the chili, the ginger, garlic, pineapple inside. On the advice of a friend on Instagram, I removed this little ring, and according to her, that takes away the risk of explosions. So this little thing here, on this thing here, makes it airtight. And getting rid of that means that the gases can escape between the glass. So no risk of explosion, no need to burp it. I did burp it the first couple days with that ring on there, and it was quite terrifying. They were rather aggressive burps. There's a lot of air coming out, so you could totally see that it could be an explosion risk with that ring on there. But taking that off has allowed the gases that are created from the fermentation to, I guess, slowly escape from between the glass parts. Anyone out there who has eagle eyes and excellent observation skills might notice that inside here, let's open this up, there's no longer a half of a bell pepper. I used that bell pepper to weight down all of the stuff in the brine so that nothing poked above the brine. That was the advice of the recipe. But what I didn't do was also weight down the pepper. So I left half the pepper in the brine and half the pepper sticking out. But the pepper is also food, and so that should also be submerged. So that was a mistake. And I discovered my mistake when a couple days later I came to the ferment and found a whole bunch of this powdery white stuff all over the top of the pepper. I looked it up. First I panicked. Then I looked it up on the internet. So the internet made it seem like it was rescuable. And then I also messaged my friend who is very experienced in the way of fermentation. And she told me to scrape it all off, take the pepper out, take everything out, wash the jar, and put it all back in and weight it down with something that's not a food product. So thanks, Emma. You saved the day, I think. Hopefully this is going good. I'm pretty confident that's fine. So I ended up using this bag full of brine to weight everything down below the level of the brine in the jar. At the moment, though, it does seem like there's stuff above the brine level. The brine level seems to have dropped quite a bit, so who knows what this will be like? Who knows? Certainly not me. I don't think it'll kill me. It hasn't killed me by explosion. Hopefully it doesn't kill me by poisoning, but there's only one way to find out. So I guess I'll blend it up and eat it and see what happens. But it doesn't smell funky and it looks pretty good, so you know, I'm 51% sure that I'm not going to die, and those are great odds. Let's get to it. Okay, so let's see here. I have the jar, got this weird bag of brine, and I guess I will sieve it into this plastic container. Okay, so I've separated the saucy stuff from the briny stuff. Doesn't smell bad. It smells actually very, very delicious. Delicious things can't kill you. That's a known fact. So, the recipe says blend all this stuff up in a blender and then add some of the brine back in. So that's what I'll do. It also says to add white wine vinegar. I think what I'll do is I'll first blend this, add some brine, taste it, and then add vinegar to taste. I'm not really following the recipe to a T. The recipe calls for habanero chili peppers. It also says put in a yellow bell pepper. And it also says to boil everything at the end. I don't think I'll do that because I feel like the whole point of fermentation is to not cook things so that you get the good gut bacteria. And I think there was some debate over that in the comments. Another thing this one said to do is to sieve everything out very finely after I blend it so that you end up with more of a liquidy sauce. I think I'm going to keep it chunky, but I'm not sure yet. Let me blend everything, see what it looks like, and I can make a decision after. One really shouldn't rush hot sauce related decisions. So I'll take my time and I'll, test it out in stages and see what it tastes like. And I'm excited, a little apprehensive, but mostly excited. So time for some blendy blendy. Holy crap, that smells very hot and it looks extremely, extremely treacherous. I'm gonna go get some tortilla chips and I'm gonna give this concoction a try. Wish me luck. Okay, here we go. Smells hot. It tastes hot. It tastes hot. It's hot. It's very hot, but in a good way. Essence of pineapple, essence of ginger, lots of chili. I am super happy with that. I'm gonna have another one. All right, so let me just try the sauce by itself, which could be dangerous. Woo! Burning my throat a little bit. Wow, this is delicious. I am a massive fan of this stuff. It's very hot. It's probably right on the cusp of the hotness that I can put up with, so putting the pineapple in there definitely mellowed the whole thing out. And yeah, this is a really, really delicious chili sauce. Yum. Yum. That is good. So do I want to add a bit of brine into it to make it a bit more liquidy, to make it go a bit farther? I think I do. I think I do. Just a little bit. Right now it's more of a chili paste, and I kind of want it to be more of a hot sauce. But not a liquidy one, a chunky one. So a bit of brine, a bit more blendy blendy, and then another taste test. So I'll just do a little bit of brine at a time. Even though the recipe calls for a full cup, but I think that'll do. And I'm gonna give it a squeeze of white wine vinegar because vinegar just makes everything better. Another moment of truth. Really, really good. I'm very happy with that. I'm going to stick it in a jar and call it done and call my first hot sauce fermentation and my first fermentation ever, call that one a success. I'm into it. Don't love kimchi, don't love sauerkraut, fermented hot sauce. That's a ferment I can get behind. Finished! So this jar is overkill for the amount of hot sauce I actually ended up with, but it's the jar I have, so that's what'll get used. And now I think I'm supposed to pop it in the fridge to preserve it, but also it stops the fermentation process. I guess it can just keep fermenting if you don't refrigerate it. And I will very much enjoy dipping into this anytime I want some spicy goodness on my food. I'm really happy with it, and I can't wait till next year when I have more chilies and I can do more experimentation. I do think I'm going to have another round of jalapenos, so I might, instead of pickling the jalapenos, I might try a fermented jalapeno hot sauce. So something that comes out green, and see what that's like. Yeah, hot sauce fermentation. I'm into it. I really, 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 really find this tasty. So yeah, fermentation for the win, and I'm looking forward to experimenting with more of it in the future. So the next job on my list, I think, is to slake some lime, which basically means taking quicklime and soaking it in water until it bubbles and makes like kind of a crazy chemical reaction, and eventually it turns into lime putty, which is what I mostly use for doing rendering and things in the house. The problem is that I couldn't find the giant 40 kg bags of quicklime. I could only find these 5 kilo bags, and so these 5 kilo bags, they're fine, it's the same thing, but the problem is these things cost $2.50 each, and the 40 kilo bag costs something like €7 for the whole thing. So if you do the math, these little bags work out to be very, very expensive. I can't find the bigger ones. I'm going to have a look in the big city. I'm going to go to Castelo Branco probably next week and have a look around, because buying these little guys will bankrupt me basically. But I need to get more on soak, and this is what I could find. So I'm just going to put 25 kilos of this stuff in the barrel and get it brewing away, and then look for the bigger bags another time. Okay, I've got half a barrel of water there. I've got my emergency supply of water there in case I need to top it up. But this should be more than enough. I'm only slaking 25 kilos, like I said, instead of 40. So I think this is plenty of water. And yeah, let's get started. So first things first, I need to put on the safety gear. I've got my goggles, I've got a mask, I've got some gloves, and I'm going to put on some long sleeves. And that'll just help protect me from all of the crazy sputtering that'll happen once the chemical reaction begins. And when I'm pouring the lime in, the mask will help with the dust. I'm gonna open all the bags and yeah, just chuck it in the water and do what I've done in the past, where I put it in all at once and then I just stir it around, and then you let it cool down, and then it basically just sits there in the water for months and months, getting stickier and stickier. I use lime putty for lots of things, and it's just going to be really good to have as much of it on hand as possible that's ready to go when I need it. So I'm going to keep slaking it and keep slaking it, but first I need to find the big bags, because these smaller ones, they are not cost effective. So I'll be on the hunt for the big bags. But this is what I have for now, so we'll get going and check another job off my list. That's sweaty work. I'm going to let that bubble away for a bit. I'll probably top it up with a bucket of water. And then come visit it again in about 10 minutes and give it another stir. It looks like it's doing what it's supposed to be doing, so I'm quite happy and looking forward to having some more lime. The side of this barrel is quite hot to the touch, and that's exactly how it's supposed to be. Which is why never slake lime in a plastic bucket. Metal drums like this are good, bathtubs are good, plastic buckets, bad. It will just end in tears. Ooh, so the oil drum is still quite hot to the touch, but you can see, I think, that the water is kind of settling up on the top here. And the lime is kind of separating to the bottom. So this is exactly what's supposed to happen. And I can tell that everything is working as it should be. I'm excited to have that lime brewing away successfully, and I do have plans to make a video all about lime. I just need to do more research myself, and I have to find the different kinds of lime as well, so I can hopefully whip up some different batches and show you some different things. So for anyone out there who wants to geek out on lime, hopefully a video will be coming in the not too distant future. If you've been watching any of my videos for the past couple of months, you've probably noticed this gigantic box behind me in various locations, first in my living room, and now it lives outside. It's an e-bike, and it was sent to me by the fine folks at Eleglide, and I'm very excited to put it together and to have an e-bike, so it's crazy that I haven't gotten to it yet. I think I've just been busy with other things, and the weather has been so brutal that the idea of being out on a bicycle just was far too much to bear. I couldn't even think about it. So it sat in this box. It's been languishing in there for a couple of months. But now is the time that I'm going to bust it out of the box, put it together, and take it for a ride. So let's get started. What's it? What is it? So it looks like I have a little bit of light reading to do this morning. This really isn't my cup of tea, assembling bicycles and such, but it's got to be done if I'm going to ride it, so let's dig into this. The bike's been really easy to put together up to a point. I'm stumped on a couple of things, and of course those are the parts that don't have diagrams, which is probably why I'm stumped. If there was a picture, all would be clear, but there's not. It's only words, and I can't figure it out. Luckily for me, this e-bike has been sent around all over the place, and so there's loads of YouTube videos about people putting them together, including the channel Frankie Off Grid, which is another YouTube channel in Central Portugal. So I had a look at your video, guys, and it really helped me out. So thanks a lot. I got stumped in all the same places as you did, and I'm going to try to tackle all those same problems now. And so my major issue is how to install this guy. The video I watched says just take this handle off with brute force, so I'll try that in a moment. But one thing that was really great is I would have never in a million years noticed this down here. It looks like this is where I plug the throttle into. So according to the video I watched, you just kind of unravel this and pull it out and then maybe wrap it back up. So I'll do that now. This is not easy. It's also not what it says in the instructions, so let's hope it's right, because I don't think I'm getting this thing back on. It slides on, but it doesn't stay on. I don't know, maybe I tighten something? Okay. Okay, all done. And I guess I also have to actually read the manual about how to drive this thing, turn it on, run the electrics. I'm living in fear of just being sped away down a hill really fast. So back to the manual I go. So here's the bike in the house, and it's time to pump up the tires while I wait for the rain to stop. Okay, so I've read the manual, more or less, and it's time to take this thing for a very short little spin. It's about to rain, I think, and I don't want to get too far from my house because this isn't supposed to get wet. I'll take it for a longer ride in a couple of weeks when I get a nice sunny day. So yeah, let's take it for a spin, see how it goes. And so I guess I'm just gonna hop on and push the plus button and see what it does, and hope for the best. It looks like I figured out assist mode because it's taking me no effort at all to come up this rather steep hill. So yeah, but I don't feel like it's giving me just motorcycle forward power. I think it must be a different setting. So I have to return to the manual and see how to actually work this thing, because right now I think I'm just giving myself some aid in the pedaling rather than actual 25k an hour kind of stuff. So yeah, I've got a bit more reading to do. So the bike feels really good. It's super sturdy. I was a little worried it was gonna be too big for me. I'm only about 5'2", 5'3", and I think the minimum height was 5'4", up to about 6'2". So that filled me with a bit of fear, but it turns out it's actually just about okay for me. Any bigger and it would have been a struggle, but I don't feel unsafe on it. I feel really comfortable, and it feels super sturdy. I also love that it's got the mountain bike tires, so this would be a perfect bike for just getting around all these dirt tracks. So if I just wanted to kind of head over to a friend's place, riding on the back roads, the dirt tracks, this is a perfect bike for that, especially with the hill assist. So I'm really impressed with it. I haven't taken it for a long ride. I'm going to plan a whole day out on the bike in a couple of weeks. I'll pick a nice day and take you guys around the larger area on the bike. See what the bike can do and show you guys a bit of the local area as well. I really like how it feels, and I'm very excited to take it for a longer trip soon. Good morning, it's a new day, and today is the day we hopefully get rain. It's supposed to rain for the next 3 days starting tonight. It's going to be consistent, and it's going to be a lot all the way to the end of Thursday. So I have a few things I need to do to prepare. Luckily my place isn't so big, so I don't have to do lots of jobs, but when the rains come, you'll find a lot of people have to do a lot of things to get things ready. Often people just leave stuff outside in the summer, and that's what I've done. I've even moved my couch outside. So I have to cover the couch. I have to go collect straw from the garden. I'm going to see if I can scrounge up some more straw from the garden beds that doesn't look damaged or gross, but I need to get it while it's dry. I need to put a tarp in front of the window. Right now I have some black plastic, but that's just not going to cut it. I need something a bit bigger because the water does tend to blow in when it rains a lot. And I need to move wood inside. I've got a bunch of wood outside that I'd prefer if it didn't get wet, so I'll either need to cover it or move some of it inside. So not so much to do, but little jobs that are going to take a bit of time this morning. And I just want to get them done so I can forget about them and look forward to the rain. So let's go get some straw. It's not an ideal situation to be using straw that's kind of just been laying around on the ground, But desperate times call for desperate measures, and I'd like to be able to continue cobbing on these rainy days and working inside. I'd love to finish that small wall, at least get it flat at the top, and I'd love to put some cob on the walls, render some of the walls with it. Yeah, I'm scrounging around for what I can, and hopefully I have straw that's not gross. It's not going to be massive amounts of cob going on that has this straw in it, but just enough to tide me over for the next few days while I can sort out an actual bale instead of garden scraps. So yeah, it'll keep me going, and hopefully I can get some more mud on the walls. I think that maybe bringing 2 buckets was ambitious, but I'm going to scrape up all this stuff on the ground, which was actually just sort of remnants from a bale. It was never in the garden. And then I've got this stuff over here, which I don't think looks too bad. I had plants die in here, and I didn't really water it so much, so I'm wondering if it might be okay to use this stuff. It still looks golden. It doesn't look moldy and weird. So I'm going to put it in a bucket, and I can assess the situation when the time comes. If I can use this straw just to keep me moving forward on the cob, it means that I can hopefully do some building inside while it's raining. So I think that'll do. I've got a bucket, and I wanted to just stick with the golden looking straw rather than the beige stuff, just to be on the safe side. So job done, job number 1. Now I'm gonna go sling up a tarp over the window. The clouds are gathering. I think the rain isn't expected until about 7 or 8 o'clock this evening, but it looks like it's on its way. Okay, job done. I'll need to weight the bottom down, but I'll do that later. Time to move some wood. I don't know what my plans are for the next 3 days as far as work goes, but I'm going to take some wood inside because there's a good chance I'll crack on with the kitchen cabinets and or the corner cupboard. So I'll take those pieces in, keep them dry, keep them inside so I don't have to nip outside into the rain to get them, and possibly use them. We'll see. Oh no, it's already raining. It's not supposed to come this soon, so time to rush. Okay, looks like just in the nick of time, so I need to go close my car windows, and then I guess I'll hibernate inside for the foreseeable future. Got my bike. I've got a bucket of straw. I've got a bunch of wood. It's not so bad. Definitely workaroundable. And hopefully can continue with this. It rained a whole bunch last night, and it's going to rain a lot more the next couple days. But there's no sign of any leaking up there, which means my tarp is working. And then in the front here, I have had an issue with water kind of coming in this little gully, which is quite obvious it would want to come this way. There's quite a slope that comes in, so I need to build this up a bit more. It's not the actual doorstep though, it's the door itself. On the front of the door, there's cracks where my friend welded the piece on. And so I need to kind of block that up somehow with silicone or something. and I'm hoping that will solve the problem. So we'll see. So let's see what it looks like outside after a lovely rain. Ah, foggy and beautiful. Doesn't look like my solar panels would be getting any juice anytime soon, but it feels cool and fresh and wonderful. But yeah, for the first stormy day of the year, my house has fared very, very well. No new leaks, no old leaks. Everything is nice and watertight in there and cozy, and I feel very happy to have this weather finally after a really long and brutal summer. So, yeah, roll on the next 2 rainy days, and then hopefully we have some sun after that so I can stock up my energy supply. Okay, that's it for this video. I'm in the doorway trying to stay dry and warm, but I'm loving the rain, I'm loving the cooler weather, and I hope you enjoyed witnessing the changing of the seasons. I hope you enjoyed all the varied tasks that I got up to this week. And as always, thanks for watching. If you liked the video, please subscribe, share it around and all that stuff. And I'll see you in the next one.